And action! Hollywood Extension Outagamie production. Yes. And you are the director. Rediscover the Glimmers of Joy in 2021. Hi, this is Karen Dickrell, and I'm lifespan educator with the University of Wisconsin-Madison Extension in Outagamie County. Outagamie County's been able to sponsor a Joy Conference from 1975 to 2020. That's 45 years of joy. And while I haven't been here for all 45 years, we have learned lessons in rediscovering that joy, as many of you know, because you were participating in those joy conferences over the years. So today I'm going to share with you some ideas of lessons learned and what we can do with our production in our lives for the future. In those 45 years of Joy conferences, with an average audience of 500 people and 3 keynotes, we've learned a lot about different aspects of joy from people's life experiences. And I'm going to share some of those ideas with you today. Well, what have we learned? It pays to listen, to learn, to practice, and see what fits for our own life and our own value systems. And we know from past experience that one size does not fit all. But we move on. We've learned that if we are concerned about our future and worry about our emotions in the future, there's lots of anxiety and fear, there's stress, doubt, worry, all those adjectives that are on this page that really make us very nervous and uneasy and timid of looking into the future and what the year 2021 might hold. If we live in today, our emotions of today, and you see joy as one of those emotions, that's going to put us in a much better place in looking at where we are and appreciating the life that we have. We're going to find more serenity and happiness, excitement, amusement, awe, optimism, hope, trust for the future. And so that's where I hope the things that I share with you today will give you some ideas of how to move forward. Theodore Roosevelt said, the comparison is the thief of joy. So if we compare what happened last year or 5 years ago and, it's just not what it used to be, that's going to rob us of what we really need to appreciate and to find the joy in our life. So who are we and how do we figure out where we're going and what's going to happen in our future? Well, it's good to know that 50% of who we are is 50% is genetics. 10% are outside circumstances, although maybe last year it seemed a little bit more. But actually, 40% of your life is your thoughts and your actions of how you look at life, how you approach it, how you plan and think about what you'd like to do, but also appreciating the moments and the joy that you have in your life today. There are 10 keys to happiness. And so I'm going to go over them very briefly today. And through the course of this next year, I'm going to weave these concepts into our moments, our joy emails. So one is gratitude. Another is smiling. Another is exercise, diet, and sleep. Another is to focus on your strengths. We want to start your day in a positive way. You need to find your flow of what works for you. Meditation, random acts of kindness, dropping the grudges, and staying alive. And I'm going to share with you what some of those key topics are. So key to our life, one of the most important keys is the gratitude of looking for the good things in your life. What do you want to be happy? Be grateful. Thinking of appreciating all that's good with the holidays, all that great food, and maybe it is the opportunities. Maybe it's going to your mailbox and seeing cards from family and friends that you don't hear from very often. It's that gratitude and being grateful for what you have in your life. Smile! So you really can't see that I'm smiling, can you, behind my fantastic horn mask? And that's hard these days, but smiling is really important when you're seeing other people. So there's this 10-5 rule. When you're 10 feet from someone, smile. And when you get 5 feet from them, say hello. Although remember, maybe it's more 6 feet because we want to do our social distancing. But smiling is powerful. Even when you're on the telephone, when you stand up and you're talking to people, they can sense when you're smiling and you're happy. Children smile 400 times a day, and I can't say that that's true of many adults. And when you smile, that's the same as endorphins of 200 bars of chocolate. So if you smile, you're just saving a lot of calories. But enjoy what you're doing and be happy about who you're meeting with. Exercise, diet, and sleep. Pretty standard. And as adults, we know the basics of that. We know what to do, but it's the willpower to make it happen. And oftentimes, the beginning of the year is when we say, okay, I'm going to stick really clear and I'm going to have 3 meals a day and I'm going to eat lots of vegetables and half my plate will be fruits and vegetables and not so much on the snacks and those are good kind of resolutions that you want to make part of your habit of daily living. So stop eating the crap. Crap stands for carbonated drinks, your refined sugars, the artificial foods, and the processed foods. So beginning of the year, January 2021, stop eating the crap and focus on your strengths. What are you really good at? And one of the places that you can help to do a little bit of a thought and reflection is to go to the website www.viacharacter.org. And all you have to do is a survey. You don't have to go further. You don't have to pay for any of it. They try to sell you things, but we're not pushing that. What it's really helping you to do is to do an inventory to find out where your strengths are. And it's really amazing to do that because I've done it a couple times now and it's pretty consistent. And it really does remind me that it's important to build on our strengths and move forward in our lives to be as productive as we can be. So one of those key elements that I said was important is to start your day in a positive way, making a conscious effort. So what do you do when you start in the morning? Do you listen to the news? And we have to say that the news hasn't been the most positive lately. Or do you wake up to music? Do you enjoy some reading, some spiritual thoughts, some yoga, meditation? Do you do prayer? Do you go for a walk? Just getting outside for a couple minutes and coming back in the morning, you get that fresh air and you just have a new start to your day. And just like the river that's kind of pictured here, you need to find your flow. Find where you can use that strength and that energy that you've identified so that you can get into your zone and to share your gifts and your talents with others. And you're going to feel so good when you're doing those things because it's who you are. It reinforces your skills and strengths. Meditate, focus, thicken your gray matter, just taking time to be and to be quiet and to think about where you're going and what's important in your life. That's an important key element of moving forward. Random acts of kindness are so wonderful. So practice if you can that kindness, that gratitude. It's all going to go a long way. And it's sometimes just the little things. But we'll get into that more through the course of the year. Okay, it's 2021, so we need to drop the grudges. We need to let things go. We need to forgive. And as the saying on the sign says, let go of grudges, forgiving people, and moving on with life. You're going to feel so much better than holding on to the anger and resentment. And oftentimes when we have grudges, we can't maybe even remember what the grudge was all about. But there was something that happened. So is it really worth it to live your life with these grudges? It's not. So learn to move on. And then the last key element is staying alive. So that social integration and getting closer to people, get your flu shot and the other shots on the horizon. Get rid of the bad habits. Try to exercise more. Think of lean versus the overweight. Think about hypertension, getting outside, getting fresh air, and avoid those organ concerts. Now, what's an organ concert? Well, that's when someone says, how are you? And you say, well, my back was hurting and then I had some problems with my kidneys. And so you're talking about your organs to someone. more than likely they really don't want to hear that. So know who you can talk to for your organ concert, but don't share it with everyone. It's just maybe sometimes a real downer for people to hear the aches and pains. So avoid those organ concerts. So I hope these little moments are adding a little joy to your inbox. If you have friends, relatives, neighbors that you think might be looking forward to these kinds of things as well, you can share with them how to sign up for the joy messages that we have, our Glimmers of Joy. And it also, we've got a little tutorial if you're not sure how to sign up for it. So we welcome you to do that. And look for your Glimmer of Joy email the beginning of every month. Remember, you're the one producing your life. You're in charge. So how are you going to move forward into 2021 to have a happy, joyful life? Take care, stay safe. This has been Karen Dickrow with the University of Wisconsin-Madison Extension in Outagamie County. Bye.